Okay, guys, let's we continue the emergency procedures. What is emergency procedure? What is meaning by emergency procedure? If some emergency happened on the workplace, happened on the project, happened on the project premises, what need to do? How to handle, how to tackle that emergency? That is known as emergency procedure. What do we need them? Because despite all of the precautions, things can still go wrong. Accident can happen in any workplace at any area. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, at 7 or say before 2 minutes of 7, don't wait me. The same link we are using to start the meeting every day. You just can join and I will let you allow in the meeting exactly at 7. If I will be late, I will send you a message. So don't let me send you link every day and then you are joining slowly. It's wasting your time and my time as well. So no need to let the others wait. Just join every day in the same time. So what emergency situation would the following organization have to consider when developing emergency procedure? Primary school, chemical manufacturing plant, a shopping center. These are three scenarios. In these scenarios, what an organization need to do if they are developing a emergency procedure? So here we have short answers. It's not exact the full, but it's short answer. In primary school, fire can happen. First aid incident can happen. Bomb threat possibly on the workplace, in the school, sorry. Severe weather, bad environment, flood conditions, rains, sandstorms, outbreak of disease like COVID. This is also a type of emergency. So we need to develop, while developing an emergency procedure, we need to think about these things also. So in chemical manufacturing plant fire, first aid including multiple casualty incidents, bomb threat can be severe weather, outbreak of disease, all are same, then chemical release is different. Toxic chemicals exposures, possible outbreak of disease. This is also related to chemical or the in general it can be. And in a shopping center, same fire aid, same fire and first aid, terrorist threats, bomb threats, suspect packet if they find something unattended, multiple casualty, crowd management also. If there is a crowd panic because of any bad news, of any wrong news or any fake news, there is a bomb or there is something fallen down or there is some leakage or hazardous gas, and then the crowd management can go wrong. These all are the things need to consider while making the plan for and shopping center. What are the emergency procedures? Like the procedures need to be followed. They need to arrange something, and with the procedure must be written, approved from the senior managements, and it must be communicated with all of the employees, and suitable equipments to be provided. Responsible people like key personals who are responsible if there is a leakage, who is responsible to isolate the area, who is responsible to clean the area to avoid the contamination. Training to the employees, drill and exercise, a mock drill, like doing the practice before incident, before accident, to handle the accident more properly. That is a drill exercise or a mock practice. And contacting emergency services, communication protocol, communication methods, telephone, walkie-talkie, radio, how you share the communication, how you inform the employees if there is a bomb threat, what material or what media can be used, contact details of local and national emergency crisis management, police, civil defense, ambulance, etc., etc. Responsible persons contact numbers, fire marshal, emergency commander, first aid leader, like that. All must be provided in the must be included in the emergency procedures. Okay, and the team must be trained on that. And the second bit, what type of emergency situation might an organization need to consider? You have to develop a fire response arrangements. What key things would you include? Yes, guys, answer. Anyone? You are developing fire response arrangements. What key things would you include? Okay, I'll give you an example, a short brief about that. When you are developing a fire response arrangement for fire response arrangement, you need to consider which type of fire can be. What is the fuel, which type of material and substances are being used. Is there the fire because of electric, is because of wood material, is because of petrol, or the flammable material is because of the cooking oil. So accordingly, you need to take every possibility. You need to think about every possibility. What can be the cause of fire and which class of fire will be. And accordingly, you must have all type of fire extinguishers, like including sand or water or DCP powder, carbons, etc., etc. That must be included in the fire risk assessment, and then emergency evacuation plan, emergency evacuation procedure. Who will lead the team, who will be the fire marshal, who will be the first aider, who will be the firefighter for that, where the equipments, the fire extinguishing equipments will be placed, how many numbers, what are the identification of the fire extinguishers. These all things need to included when you develop a fire response arrangement or fire response emergency procedure. So the next is 3.6, equipments for and effective provision first aid in the workplace. What is first aid? First aid is a measure which is a sport or help or a treatment which is given to the employees to avoid the seriousness of the injury. Like the immediate response, the immediate support, medical support provided to the victim, provided to the injured person is known as first aid, and it can be done only by the approved first aider. A trained, a competent guy can do it. Other people's normal workers are not allowed to give first aid to anyone on the workplace. Even they know what they have to do, but they are not allowed. Legally, it's not allowed to give first aid because maybe by their own mind they are thinking that they can do, but maybe they put the casualty, they put the victim in more worst condition. Just a moment. Okay. So developing the first aid procedures, an employer has a duty to make appropriate first aid provision for his employees, which include facilities and appropriate location, rooms with signages, with proper treatment and proper equipment where the victim or the injured person can lay down, he can sit properly, he can breathe properly, a clean and TD place, first aid room with all equipments and the equipment suitably stocked, first aid kit and other equipments, personal trained staff must be there, must be approved from the third party or as per the local or the local legal or the OHS authorities requirement, health authority requirement. The first aider must be trained and competent, and he must have having adequate training and the certification. The three P's. This is the aim of first aid. Basic principle of first aid is to keep the injured person alive until professional medical assistance arrive. Professional medical assistant, the doctors, the ambulance team from the hospital team, the medical team, until they arrive, it's the aim of the first aider that they keep the person, the casualty or the injured person alive, and sometimes called three P's. One P is preserve life, saving the life, prevent deterioration, like to avoid more severity, promote recovery. It helps them to get soon well, to grow up well, to recover better. Like a person get electric shock. If there is a first aider, he knows that what he have to do in case of electric shock. He can promote him towards good health. He will try and he will be successful if he is adequate and enough trained about the task. He can help him to less the effects of injury of the electric shock, and also providing treatment for minor injuries like hand puncture, someone get hurt by hammer, someone get hurt by the steel pin on the ground, and then they give just a normal first aid that can be covered within the project or within the work of a first aider. No need to go for the medical treatment, no need to call for the emergency or medical health or the ambulance in case of minor injuries. What are the trained personnel first aiders? Their full training required as per the local laws and legislations. Appointed persons, he must have the basic training only. That is a guy who is available on the workplace all the time. In every working team, there must be a guy who have knowledge about first aid so that he can cover at least properly, because sometimes in a big project, a project which is covering the area of 10 million square meters, there is one or two first aiders are sitting in the main first aid room or first aid clinic. They cannot reach everywhere. So as required for every 50 employees, one first aider is required. So with every 50 teams crew, with every 50 workers team, there must be a first aider, an appointed person who can give them the basic training and who can recover them immediately, and he can inform to the first aider or the male nurse or the doctor available at the workplace. And the coverage will develop on the general risk level of the workplace, the hazards present in the workplace, accident history, vulnerable persons, the number of workers, work pattern, shift system, workplace location, geographic, the spread of the workplace. Yeah, what is here something is new. Worker numbers, everything you know, workplace location, geographic. If a workplace is on extreme geographic conditions like very hot weather or very cold weather or adverse weather conditions like everyday sandstorm or everyday there is flooding. So they identify and they know the trend, which type of emergency, the first aid cases they are facing. Then they be ready. They will bring more materials relating to that, like maybe people's getting hand injuries because of cold. Their hands get cold, or the body parts which are direct exposed to cold environment. So what which type of first aid they need, a first aider must know about that, and he will try to cover it in best way. And we also face the same in the month of July, when here it's too much humidity. There's there is a hot weather and more humidity, and people facing breathing problems. They cannot breathe because the oxygen level in the air in the environment is decreased. And then in that case, the first aider know that which type of first aid material he must have. He must have ORS. He must have some vitamin C or liquid, which enhance the salt and which enhance which excuse me. He must have some type of liquids or salts which keep the employees hydrated. These are some coverage points which is normal and interesting. So what are the first aid facilities? First aid room, possibly. It's not must, but if there is a separate and designated room available, that is exact and perfect condition. Centrally located, the location must be near to everyone so that everyone can achieve and contact there in case of emergency. And a clean and adequately heated, ventilated, appropriate working environment, proper heat, ventilation, lighting, hand wash facility, eye wash facility, waste bin, segregation of the waste like hazard waste or general waste, plastic waste. What equipment there is need? First aid boxes as per the size of the organization. Like if there is the 500 people are working, then more required. If only 30 people are working, then we can say 2 or 3 first aid boxes are adequate. Eye wash station to be there, emergency shower, blankets in case of cold, supplements, resuscitation equipment, breathing apparatus, stretchers, wheelchairs, all type of equipments which are required as per the site and ground conditions are required it to be in the first aid facility, in the first aid room or in the first aid station. So what is the basic function of the first aider? We have 3P. What should to be considered when determining number of first aiders on site, the task, nature of job, nature of the work, trends about the incident and the size of the organization, and then the legal requirements. What other factors, Ali, just a moment, what other factors should be considered when evaluating an overall level and type of first aid provision for a site? What need to consider? I just mentioned the environment, the trends, type of work, size of the organization, nature of the equipments used, nature of the technology used, level of the training of the employees, their experience, and their incident or the first aid record, it need to be considered while developing a developing a first aid arrangement, first aid procedure on the workplace. Yes, guys, I just stop sharing the screen now.
So supplements mean
Sorry.
supplements word यूज हुआ सा ये इधर फर्स्ट एड में इक्विपमेंट में से
What is your
Blanket.
Yeah, okay. I got. You can see my screen.
Yes.
yes sir
It's in first aid facilities, right?
yes
Yes, sir. First aid
Something
facilities.
supports a belt, a collar to support someone get neck injury. Then they provide a collar to support their neck. They provide some hard material, some hot material, some bandages to support their elbows, to support their arms. That is known as splints.
Sir, I have a question, please, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, in training session where the training topic was, there was a word used, statutory training, sir.
Yeah,
What
the required by the government. The training which is required by the government, like induction training, is also a statutory training which is required by the government, by the state. That is mandatory. That is a legal requirement.
sir, in this training, what yani कि we can include induction training and
It's different.
technology.
It can be on any topic. Suppose I give you example of induction. If it's induction, then some topics as we discuss about induction to be included there. If it's for work at height, or if to work in the cold environment, if it's to be for the working under the power headlines, or working over the underground utilities, it's different. I cannot determine which topics to be included, but
Oh.
it need to be included as per the training.
Sir, there is another point,
Excuse me,
the
sir.
post training. Post training,
Post-training?
what is difference,
Sorry?
sir? There is word used post training. What is the difference between pre training and post training?
It's very simple. Pre-training is nothing. Pre-training is the employees are 000. But post-training means after training, what are the effect of trainings on the employees? What we need to do, we need to evaluate. That is post-training. After training, what will happen? What is the consequence? What is the result after training? Is there increase in awareness? Is there reduction in the incidents, accidents, or the first aid cases? Is the behavior of the employees improved? That is post training. Like after training, what we need to do? We need to evaluate. We need to analyze.
Actually, sir, I have a question. In this training unit, when there is new employee induction,
Yeah.
there was a picture of child, and there is strictly prohibited for the children and any little guys to enter in the premises of the working area. Then why they put the picture of the child here? Is there any specification regarding this?
Actually, your question, I cannot understand why you asking such type of question. The child can enter at your workplace. They just put the picture. We already discussed the graphics that it's eye catching. So you catch this one. That is the reason why you are asking this question. You got my point now?
So I have got your point, but that is very. I don't know why they put this guy picture in this pictorial.
What is the problem with the picture of a child?
Because it doesn't suit here. Because there some be some adults here. There some be
Okay.
some space.
Okay,
Because this is an international course.
Tomorrow I will put your pictures or my picture in this slide. Don't worry.
So it doesn't matter.
Mr. Zaid, this is nothing to do. The training module or the training is designed by very experienced people. They are just putting some data. They include some emotions. Like once you look on the picture of a sweet child, your emotions will be grow up for health and safety. You just feel you get attracted to that. You will feel that, yeah, I have my own family, I have my own kids. That is an emotional factor, but any picture can be used there. And the visitors, the childs playing in the area can go into the workplace. And also in some workplaces, there is early kids coming for the experience, coming to see how the things, kids from the institutes, right? You got my point? Sometimes
Yes, yes,
kids from
I know,
the
sir.
kids
I
from
know,
the
sir, that
institute, kids from the institute working, visiting the workplace. And like we also visit during the building structure, during the construction, the expo area. We
yes,
visit
sir.
and we visit and we visit with IOSH team. The IOSH,
Yes, sir.
they bring us there. Even we were not authorized to go there, but we visit the area to check how the things are being done, how the safety standards are being operated there. In the same way, kids can be brought to any workplace where they can see where there is some learning outcome, but there are used multiple control measures to keep them in a safe manners.
Okay, it's all right. I
No
have
problem.
some own perspective regarding this, sir.
Yeah,
However, leave this, sir.
this is our perception.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Leave this. I have another question. You mentioned in the drill and exercise of emergency response plan. Sir, what is the duration or schedule? You can please tell.
This is also decided by legally for fire or emergency evacuation in UAE. It's 6 months, 2 times a year need to be done, and furthermore it depends on your workplace. If there is a rapid fire accidents happened, if often it's a happened fire accidents, you need to be more familiar. If there is a change in the technology, change in the employees, all new staff came in the organization, you need to conduct it maybe after 1 month. So it's not some specific or fixed rule. It's only as per the condition, but there is a legal requirement in UAE 2 times a year, 6 months.
Okay, sir. If there is a smooth process in all the place, then there will be annually its reputation, sir. It's enough.
No. It's 2 times minimum. That is a legal requirement here in UAE. I don't know about other countries, but here it's 2 times a
Yes.
year need to be done. In any case, everything going smooth, no matter, need to be done 2 times. But if there is accidents, incidents, or fire incidents happen or emergency happens on the workplace, need to be done in more times.
Okay, sir. You are telling this that it is a legally requirement. Can you tell it's a regulation that is compatible with this
Zahir,
drill and exercise?
I told you it's only in the UAE, so I cannot tell you the regulation for Saudi Arabia. Every country have their own regulations. In
Okay, sir.
UAE Fire and Life Safety Code of Practice, it's
Sir,
mentioned like that. UAE have its
uh,
own fire and life safety code of practice. So in Saudi Arabia or in other countries, we need to go through about that procedure.
okay, sir. Sir, in what situation we can contact with local and national helpline help process for in case of
In case of any emergency which cannot be handled on the project, a fire, first aid, or anything which cannot, even a crowd management, if you cannot handle
right?
within the project, you can contact the authorities.
Sir, who will call them safety
It's mentioned,
management or the
no, it's mentioned in the emergency procedure who is responsible. It also depends in
oh,
organization to organization who is the emergency commander, who is the leader. He can contact. He can be a safety guy. He can be a project manager. He can be a construction manager.
sir, after getting the level 3 training, can we give the first aider to in any field area?
No. You have nothing. You will not learn anything about first aid in the NEBOSH IGC, even in IOSH, even NEBOSH level 6 diploma. After getting level 6 diploma, you are not an authorized first aider. For first aid, you need to get a training from the approved party, from the third party, from the government authority, and then they will give you a card, will give you at least 1 day training, and that will be
Uh,
only valid for 1 year.
sir, is training some specific training, sir?
Yes, specific to first aid. Yes, there is.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is a point coverage will depend on. There is a point of vulnerable person. Sir, please tell them.
Vulnerable person, the people who are working voluntarily, volunteer peoples on the project. Maybe some people are working for internship program. Some people are just working to just came to the workplace and just to visit, just by their own things. Like they need to be covered. Like maybe there is some visitors, maybe there is a pregnant lady, she needs some special care. Maybe some kids, like as you mentioned that why kids are there,
Yes.
maybe some early age students, the learners, or the young peoples are working or visiting the workplace, or the peoples who can get more quick harm, the peoples who are more exposed to risk, they are also vulnerable.
Yani, sir, those person that is very quickly affected with the situation.
Anyone who needs special care, young workers,
Hmm.
ladies, alone, lone workers, the people working alone on the workplace, these all are on special care.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, you mentioned that previously that the causes of fire in the last, I think, 4 or 5 slides previously.
Okay.
Sir, what we can do if the fire causes of hydrogen sulfide H2S, what will we do?
When you stock the hydrogen sulfide or any substance or any type of material, you are getting a material safety data sheet, which is known as MSDS with the material. In that data sheet, the precautions, the control measures, the requirements, and the storage and handling procedure is written. So just go through the MSDS and you will get the answer, and you will get which type of fire extinguishing material you need to use or you need to have on your workplace.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, because of that H2S, I think for me, this is the most powerful
Yes,
gases
H2S is more
what we
hazardous.
have in
Yes,
this.
more hazardous, and a little amount or a little amount or a small contact can lead to fatality.
Yes, because sir, I was reading this kind of a H2S topic clearly that was also mentioned that 10% of ppm, it means uh, part per millions.
Yes.
If there is below over 10, so we don't, we can't work over there.
Yes, we cannot. We cannot. Especially when you are working in the confined spaces where there is a possibility of
Yeah, yeah,
H2S.
yeah. That was also mentioned that confined
Yeah,
spaces.
yeah. That's
Sir,
mostly available in the mostly present in the confined spaces, in the deep.
Okay,
sir,
thank you so much, sir.
Yes, please.
sir, excuse me, sir, what's its ppm if working in the confined space? We can working easily. What's its ratio?
You need to check full confined space procedure, the oxygen level, the presence of all other hazardous gases on the space. There is a meter and a device used to check the gases, used to check the presence and the pressures. Then you can work.
Actually, sir,
But
this
in
guy
case
just
of presence of any H2S, you are not allowed to go until you are not using Zahir. There is a scene which need to be understand. There is the materials which you need to use, and there is a breathing apparatus. It depends on the workplace. After checking by a competent person, then he will decide and he will
yes.
inform the team, the production or the construction team, which type of equipments. Because sometimes there is the presence of gases and they are using breathing apparatus. So
Sir, the
Yes,
machine was called use a pressure monitored that was go previously when the workers was not over there in confined space, and you also need a SCABA for that.
yes, and continuous
yes,
monitoring is required. And when the
Yes,
result
the
and when
watchman and
yes,
the first aid member was also
yeah,
standing
first
over
thing
the
at
confined space.
confined space evacuation procedure, emergency procedure, and the watchers, the people, the competent people who watch them, and what are the communication methods to communicate with the person who is inside, and how to evacuate. All these things are included there. All these things are included in the emergency program, and in that they can ensure that they can perform the job safely. Any other question?
No, sir. Thank you so much for helping
No,
that.
sir. Thank you very much.
That's the only question I want to ask.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Okay, guys. Take care. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Bye.
Inshallah, sir. Allah Hafiz.
Have a good night. Sir.